Afternoon, Nathan. You're right.
Hi,
So 3 back-to-back wins for your team now. They must be full of confidence, the lads, at the moment. And a win this weekend with the home support behind, that could potentially lift you out of the bottom 3 as well. So that must be a real incentive for you guys.
Yeah, look, I think that's the first psychological barrier, really, just to get above the line, and that's what we want to do. We'd like to have done it by now, but as I said, it gives us an opportunity this weekend albeit against a very, very tough side. But that's probably our motivation now.
Can I talk to you about deadline day transfers? Obviously, we're getting close to the end of the deadline now. How much business are you hoping to do, and have you got any areas in particular that you may be hoping to strengthen?
Look, we'd like to do a couple if we can in terms of stuff. I'm not going to really say though the areas and stuff, but what we want to add is just a little bit more quality, a little bit more competition in certain areas. And look, we're working really, really hard on that. The owners are working really, really hard, and look, hopefully, by the end of that, we'll have a few in.
Is it fair to say that maybe those 2 areas could be a forward and maybe a right back? We've heard a lot of different names, especially in the right back area. Are those really important positions for you in terms of trying to strengthen?
No, in terms of the right back area, they're more important ones to recruit than the right back area. We have people in right back area, albeit one's out at the minute, but we have people in the right back area. So the most important areas are elsewhere from that, to be honest.
So centre forward potentially?
Well, look, we would like to add more quality, more potency. We really would. So whether that's a centre forward, whether that's in a wider area, whatever that is, we would like to add a little bit more potency, a little bit more whatever that is, whether that's pace, whether it's power, whether it's ability, whatever that 1v1, whatever that is, we would like just to add a little bit more, and we're working very hard on that.
Can I put one name to you? Nicholas Jackson from Villarreal. That's a name we've been hearing. Is that something that maybe could be close?
Look, I wouldn't say anything's close at this point, but we've got a number of names in a number of positions that we are targets that we like for their certain characteristics that we feel would add to what we have. So look, until anything's definite, it'd be foolish of me just to confirm, deny, or to speculate on anything. So look, I know it's boring, but it's the way it is.
No worries. Let's move on from transfers then. Talk about this weekend. What kind of tests are you expecting from Aston Villa? And has anybody not available maybe picked up a knock or injury that won't be available this weekend?
No, we're pretty much as strong as we can be. The ones that were out and that had no chance of playing last week are still out. Some are back, so we're a little bit stronger than we were last week in terms of stuff, and everyone else is ahead of where they were. So in terms of injury wise, we're in a decent place. In terms of Aston Villa, look, we know that they're a very, very good side, and under the new manager, they're very, very potent, have good pace and energy and attack minded. So we know it'll be the toughest of tests, and we got to make sure that one, we defend well, one, two, we show our disciplines that we've shown in recent weeks, and then be an attacking force ourselves.
Yeah, and just last question from me. Jason Wilcox has been appointed as Director of Football, obviously coming in from Manchester City. He's worked with some of the younger players that have obviously come over from City as well. How much are you looking forward to working with him, and with such a young squad here as well, how important could his appointment be?
Well, I think his appointment's more than just working with me. I think, he'll oversee quite a lot in the academy and certain things. Obviously, he's done a fantastic job at Man City. He's, as well publicised, he knows what it takes to win the Premier League. But in terms of he's worked with elite players in his time at Man City in a wonderful, wonderful environment there. So those are the things that I believe that we went for as a football club. And yet once he obviously I think he has to work out his notice period at Man City, and then we can get down to work, and so I've spoken to him, had a number of conversations with him, and excited to work with him, but as I said, first and foremost we're delighted to have him, but it's making sure that we get points first, and then we can enjoy that relationship, really.
Great, thank you, Nathan.
Hi Nathan. Since the win at Everton last week, how's the mood been around the club? Has it been nice and positive?
Yeah, look, with the greatest respect, we've had a positive mood. Obviously, results change that or enhance it, and so on. But there's not been any negativity. Obviously, the negativity came from outside, but within, we've got, we know the work we do. We know the where we want to go. We know the journey we're on, and yeah, the last three results have helped to galvanise everyone, helped to give everyone a little bit of a boost, and helped to for everyone to really believe in the work that we're doing inside and out. And I said it's been a real good week. We've had another. We haven't rested on our laurels this week. We've had a real hard week because it's probably one of the only weeks in for a little bit we're going to get a full week to work with them. So we've taken full advantage. Yeah.
What do you make of the job that Unai Emery is doing at Aston Villa and the kind of threat they're going to pose to you tomorrow?
Look, I don't tend to comment on others, but obviously whatever he's been, he's done a good job and obviously a wonderful reputation and doing a great job at Aston Villa, and they'll be a tough test. They've got real attacking pace and threat, and we know that they'll be a front-footed side, so we're going to have to defend well, or we're going to have to defend like we have done in recent weeks, and then make sure that we pose a threat ourselves.
I know that you touched on it about a win could take you out of the relegation zone, but have you had any more talks with the players about what that could do psychologically just to get out of that?
No, look, we all know that it's a thing. That's our first psychological barrier, and I think once that, then you can start to build, because at the minute we're kind of playing catch up. We want to get past playing catch up and then get our head above water, if you like, and then we can go from there. So look, it's important, but it's the next game. We don't put too much pressure on them. We don't get too high when we win. We don't get too low when we've defeated. We have to keep an equilibrium, really, and that's what we've kept. And as I said, it's another game. It's a big week coming up in terms of a big 10 days for the club coming up in terms of 3 competitions once again. But we're excited by that, and it's a challenge we really have to embrace.
Just finally from me, we saw a glimpse of him at Goodison Park in Alcaraz. Is he in line for a start tomorrow afternoon?
Well, he's further than what he was last week, because obviously, travelling the distance he did and then national clearance, not being able to train. He's had a wonderful week this week in terms of everything. Orsic is exactly the same, gathering more momentum. We've got 1 or 2 back from injury as well. So we've got a lot stronger position we're in this week than we were last week. So we'll see. So it's a big week coming up, and we're gonna need the squad. So whoever starts Saturday, the others, one will have to affect the game on Saturday in terms of their role, but then be ready for Tuesday, Saturday and Tuesday again.
I watched the Villa Leeds game, and I thought Leeds were really unlucky actually. They were very aggressive and front-footed like you were against Man City in your last home game. Villa quite like the counter-attacks at their pace. Do you have to be measured tomorrow, or can you get everyone with that aggression and go front-footed tomorrow in front of your own fans?
It's all about balance. Regardless if it's in front of our fans or whatever, it's all about balance. We have to be aggressive while making sure that we keep the back door shut, and that's in any walk, any kind of football. Really, you have to be able to do that, especially the Premier League, because everyone in the Premier League has threats. If you do it to Man City, if you come out, you'd be too open against Man City, they can hurt you as well. So you have to get the balance between aggression and security right, and that's stuff we work on regularly.
How do you manage the week, player-wise and fitness-wise? Do you go hell for leather at every game because they're all so important? 3 competitions again in a week, or does the Premier League have to take priority with regards to selection and stuff?
Well, the real good thing about this week is the Premier League's the first game. So whereas last week we had the FA Cup game, then a massive game against Man City where you cannot take lightly, because if you take lightly you get hurt. But it's also a quarter final, and then leading into a massive game against Everton. So we got the balance right last week. This week, in theory, should be easier to get right, because it starts off with the Premier League game. So, but we take every competition one day, one game at a time. So we'll be going hell for leather for Saturday. We'll reassess and see where we are, and see what we need for Newcastle and do that. But all we're concentrating on is Villa, and that's the big one, because it's the next one.
And of course all 3 are at home. How important to you personally, to the players, to have the fans where you need them to be, right behind you, because it's such a big week, but also because it'll take so much pressure off you if they are, and you can get over the line against Villa?
Well, it's not about the pressure, it's about everyone being together, and if they can see a team that's aggressive, that wants to go after the game, that wants to win a game, like they did against Man City, like they did against Everton, like they did against Crystal Palace, then they can get behind that. Look, I want us to put out a performance that the only thing fans can do is get behind. So that's my job to address that. So hopefully we start that tomorrow. Then we've got a massive game and against Newcastle, which is a really tough team to play against, as you found out the game before I came in. And then obviously we've got an unknown quantity in Blackpool, because obviously they changed their manager. But we really need everyone. We need everyone, because where we are and because of what's happened. We do need everyone, but that's the players, myself, coaching staff, and especially the fans, because the fans can lift the players. And I just want to make sure that we put in a performance that they can get behind.
Okay, we'll move on to the section for 10:30 this evening.
Afternoon. There's been a lot of talk about a goal scoring forward potentially coming in, but would you prefer someone a bit more versatile, a bit more multifaceted to play across a number of positions on the front line?
Look, that's a real possibility, because as I said, we've got two good number 9s in terms of we believe in terms of Shea and Sekou. So, if depending on how we play and what system we play in and things, they can't all play. So we would like more potency is what we want. So whether that is, if that's an out and out number 9, then fine. If that's someone that can play across the line, then fine. What we are is we've been quite diverse, but getting the key characteristics that are sort of really essential for a Southampton team that wants to be aggressive and score goals.
Especially against Everton, the centre-backs, or the usual centre-backs, were used to quite a good effect at full-back. Salisu and Lianco forming a back three at times. Do you feel they add a certain level of flexibility when they do play at full-back?
Yeah, they do, and with the greatest respect, we're not the biggest team in the world, so we sometimes need to compromise on certain things. But whatever I've asked any one of them to play, they've done fantastically well. In terms of personnel, in terms of Moy, in terms of Salisu, in terms of Lianco, in terms of Prowsey, wherever we've asked them to play, they've fitted in, and they've been very, very flexible and versatile, and we like that.
There obviously talks early in the window about Jan Benrick, who's now at Villa, coming back. Are you still in the market for a centre-back? Is Jan potentially coming back still a possibility as well?
We look to what we are is the potential to strengthen the squad. What we have to do is come out of this window stronger than we went into it, and that has to be the essence every single transfer window. That's what we have to do. The squad has to improve every single window. That's what recruitment is. You never go backwards. You never stagnate. You have to, and if something comes available that one improves us significantly, two fits in with the model here and the financial and the financial balances and everything, then look, we will do it, and that's what we want to do. But the key thing is that we improve on every level coming out of this window.
Obviously, Wilcox came in this morning. That's one of a number of people, fix players, staff that come from Man City. What is it about the City group that are so good, and that Southampton want to replicate them?
I'm not sure they just want to replicate it. Obviously, you would. We want to be competing for Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues and everything. But look, they're slightly different to us because they got a huge financier and stuff. The starting point was a little bit higher, but they're a club that does stuff very, very well and best practice in terms of a lot of stuff. They've got possibly the best manager of all time, or definitely the best manager currently. So there's a lot of good things that come out to City. So it's not like we want to copy them. It's just we would like certain facets that people do well in our football club. Now we've signed some from Birmingham, we've signed some from the Championship, including myself. That doesn't mean we want to become a Championship club. That means that there's certain things that fit in with us that we want to do well. We don't want to turn into Man City. We want to turn into the best version of Southampton that we possibly can. And if that means taking certain things from a big club like Man City, then fine.
Just finally, you've often said that you want to find context behind results. You don't just look at the scoreline. What metric, what statistics do you use to gauge that?
Look, you one, you naked eye, two, statistics, how you do stuff, and look, there's a lot of stuff that comes out when you analyse it, how your processes have worked, how have you created in the way that you thought you would, are your counter-attacks good, are you defending the box well, all those things happen. And for example, in Fulham, we were, and the ironic thing was even the Brighton game, Brighton was as low at XG as they've had. It's just we conceded really poor goals. Now the scoreline was 3-1 and it looked like, well, you didn't really get in. But if we just defended our box up, we'd have been in with a chance, without playing very well, of getting something from the game. Fulham, I thought we were really starting to build, really starting to gather a little bit of momentum, and then conceded from two set plays. Apart from that, they didn't have a shot on target really in terms of stuff. So it was, our processes are accumulating, and we know that if we do that well enough over a 38 game season, or now 19 games or whatever it is, we know that we'll pick up results. It's when process isn't good. Now performance levels go deeper than just results. Results are really important, and right now probably would like results more than performance, because we can always work on performance. But when performances are good or when performances are moving in the right direction, then you kind of know that the results will come.
Thank you, Jordan. Good afternoon, Nathan. Just Jacob asked about Jan Bednar. I just wanted to quickly ask, have you spoken to Jan about his future since you've come into the club?
I spoke to everyone that's been on loan here, so, Jack Stevens, Jan Bednarak, Nathan Teller, Will Smallbone, everyone that's been out on loan I've spoke to, so we know what we want to do or where and what's the plan for those, and as I said, if something comes available or something we feel would strengthen us by a recall or whatever that is, then fine, we're open to do that. But it's just about making sure, as I said, that come the 1st of February we're in a better position than we were on the 1st of January in terms of squad wise.
Yeah, well, you spoke a minute ago about how unusual you've had a full week to prepare for a game, also coming from the Championship as well. I imagine you probably didn't get that too often with the Tuesday and Saturday schedule. What's been the most important focus for you this week in the sessions?
Now we've just gone back to how structurally defensively we've worked, attacking we've worked, counter attack we've worked. So in all things we've worked, we've covered the bases and stuff, and then obviously Wednesday and today really had a big focus on the Villa game. So we've worked tactically, we've made sure physically they've had a good load, we've rested a couple up on the Monday, so we should theoretically be in a really good place.
So you spoke about Orsic and Charlie getting a chance to just integrate with the squad a bit more, build up to fitness, but just in terms of them building up those relationships and understanding on the pitch, are you seeing that with their teammates? Are they getting to grips with what you're asking them?
Oh, I mean, look, they were last week. They fit in there because we bring people in now specifically to fit what we want to do. So they already do that at the previous club, and it's just about fitting them into the Southampton way of doing stuff. But they both fit, they're both hungry, they both want to do well. It's about not putting them in too early. Now, we couldn't put Orsic straight in because of the rest he'd had after the World Cup. Charlie's in a different position because he's in the middle of the season and he's been used to playing games, and he played on the Sunday before he travelled over here on the Tuesday, so slightly different with him. So they're both now up to speed to be able to go in and handle starting bursts in the team.
And just finally from me, we spoke to Chair Adams this week, and he was saying that he's enjoying how you're relying on him in the Premier League to lead the line and be a striker. Would you be comfortable going into the 3 competitions at the deep end of the season with the current forwards that you've got, if nothing else could be added?
If nothing comes available that we can add that improves us, then yeah, it will be. Because I never add numbers, never add people for the sake of it. We just make sure we work and look after the ones we have. And I'd rather work with something I really know and I'm happy with than something that's too much of a gamble, especially at this level. So look, we're working so hard, and I would envisage that, we add to the squad in those areas. But if nothing comes available, we won't knee-jerk, we won't do it. We are scoring goals. It's not like we've gone 2-3 games without scoring. Only one game we haven't scored since I've been here. So at least that's the thing. We want to demand more from them. Other people have to chip in. Other people have to do that. But we just would like a little bit more potency all around. Now we ain't going to be able to get 10 potent players in the window, but 1 or 2 that add to us in the forward areas and progress in play and so on. Then that can be something that we're really working hard to do.